Author's note: I hope everyone has a happy new year, and I will see you all in 2015. It was December 30th at Canterlot Academy, and all the students were ecstatic for New Year's Eve, making their plans on how to spend their night. In the dormitory lounge area, Twilight, Rarity, Pinky, Rainbow, Fluttershy, Applejack and Sunset were relaxing, as Rainbow spoke up. So what should we do for New Year's Eve, girls? We could start picking out some new outfits to wear for the new year, Rarity suggested. No deal, Applejack answered. Why don't we make s'mores in my room? Oh, I'd love that, Pinky answered. Not enough to get us through the night, Twilight answered, as everyone continued to brainstorm. Suddenly Spike walked in. Hey girls, what's going on? Hey Spike, Sunset greeted him. We're just going over what we can do for New Year's Eve, Rainbow spoke up. Yeah, I mean staying up till midnight is one thing, but what to do while we wait is another. I know what you mean, Spike nodded in agreement. Before he gasped, I got it. Got what? Fluttershy asked, as the girls looked at him. Let's have a slumber party in my room, he answered. Applejack and Rainbow asked. Come on girls, I haven't been able to spend a New Year's Eve with any of my friends since last year, and now that I got all of you, we can spend it together in my room. Twilight smiled. That sounds like a neat idea, Spike. It's fabulous, Rarity agreed. Yeah, Pinky beamed. The others smiled and Rainbow spoke. Awesome plan. Then we best get planning, y'all, Applejack said as they all started discussing what to do. The very next day, as the evening was rolling in, the 7 girls were carrying sleeping bags and other supplies before stopping in front of Spike's door. Twilight knocked on it, and Spike answered it. Hey girls, come on in, Spike let them inside. The girls dropped their sleeping bags on the floor before placing other supplies on his coffee table and kitchen counter. I hope your room can fit all of us, Fluttershy said hopefully. Don't worry about it, Spike answered. I hope you don't mind, but Vinyl will be joining us as well, Rarity spoke up. No trouble at all. After all, she's the Rainbow too, the boy said. Well, let's get this party started, Pinky cheered, and everyone agreed. Later on, Applejack, Rainbow and Pinky were busy playing poker. Rarity was working on Fluttershy's nails, and Twilight and Sunset were looking over their calendars for next year to mark any events. Spike walked into the room carrying a stack of pizza boxes. I'm back, girls. Here, let me help ya, Applejack said, as she got up and took some of the weight off Spike. Thanks, Jay, Spike answered, as they put the 2 stacks on top of the kitchen counter. And so each of the girls got up and started taking some slices from the many pizza boxes. They sat on the floor of Spike's room, as Spike sat on his bed, until he heard a knock at his door. Spike got up and answered it. Seeing Vinyl. Sup, Spike? She asked, carrying her own sleeping bag. Hey, Vinyl, glad to see you made it. Yeah, well, Vinyl trailed off, as Spike saw right behind Vinyl was Trixie carrying her own sleeping bag. Trixie, he asked, you weren't about to have a slumber party and not invite me, were you? The girl asked. Well, Spike didn't know how to tell her, while turning to Vinyl giving her a glare. Sorry, Spike, but she caught me sneaking over here, the DJ explained sheepishly. Does anybody else know about this, Spike asked. Not another, I swear. Vinyl promised. Oh, I don't know about that. Trixie smirked as she held out her cell phone, with a text message ready to be sent to just about every girl in the dormitory. Spike looked at her nervously. Trixie, I beg of you, don't send that text. Trixie looked at her phone and back at Spike before smirking. I think we can make a deal. Name it, Spike answered. You let me join you and the others in the sleepover tonight, and I'll delete the text, she bargained. Spike thought on it and gave her his answer. Deal. Trixie smiled and deleted the text as promised. So Spike showed both her and Vinyl into his room. When they entered, the girls first noticed their DJ friend. Hey Vinyl, we were waiting for you. Rainbow welcomed her. Suddenly they saw Trixie behind her. Needless to say, the girls were shocked. What's she doing here? Twilight asked Spike and Vinyl. Spike, did you invite her and not tell us? Applejack asked the boy. No, and believe me, it could have been a lot worse than Trixie inviting herself. Spike warned them. Worse? Fluttershy asked, as Vinyl answered. We could have the whole dorm residents trying to get in here. The girls, realizing what Trixie would have done, frowned at her blackmail attempt, but the girl explained, Cool your jets, girls. Spike and I made a deal. I get to join you, and I don't tell anyone else about this. That still sounds like blackmail, Sunset eyed her. Whatever you think, Trixie retorted. All right, all of you settle down and let our newcomers get settled in, Spike said, as the two laid out their bags. Trixie spotted the pizza boxes. Ooh, don't mind if I do. Save some for me, Vinyl said as she took some as well. And so Vinyl and Trixie joined in on the festivities. While the girls were still hesitant about having Trixie joining them, they let her stay with Spike being the one in charge of it. Soon as it was getting closer and closer to midnight, they were chatting it up. Hard to believe the year just came and went, huh? Applejack asked. Yeah, we had a lot of good times this year, Rainbow added. Best time of my life this year was coming to this school, Spike explained, as the girls listened. I mean, if I didn't take the principal's offer, I would have had to move with my parents and go to some other school. But here I am, Canterlot Academy, the first boy in history to attend here, and I got to meet all of you. I would never take it back even if I was ever given the chance. The girl smiled, while Pinky and Fluttershy looked ready to cry at Spike's words. Twilight spoke up. We're glad to hear that from you, Spike. Ever since you came here, I feel like we've been an even closer group than ever. Yeah, like the time you helped me plan for the autumn festival, Pinky asked. Spike smiled. Yeah, it was a lot of hard work, but with you, Pinky, it was fun working. I always know how to make a boring job fun, Pinky smiled. Spike, remember when you helped me and Granny Smith with the school bake sale? Applejack asked. Spike replied, how could I forget? All those apple products we made and taste tested. I felt like I ate a whole apple farm. The two laughed. Still, I don't think we would have gotten done in half the time if you didn't help us out, Applejack said. Hey, I'm always willing to help a friend in need, Spike admitted. Quite so, darling, Rarity agreed. Like the time you helped me in preparing the costumes for our last school production of The Wiz. Yeah, so many costumes had to be made and had to be perfect, Spike remembered. Rarity smiled at him. But you were there to help keep me stuff organized and track of what needed to be done. If not for you, they wouldn't have been ready one time. Rainbow spoke up. If you think that's something, you should hear my story. Remember our last soccer game before the fall and I was struggling with my practice. But who else but Spike showed up and decided to practice with me? Only after you rejected my 7 times asking you, Spike teased, making the girls giggle, and Rainbow looking embarrassed. It wasn't 7, she retorted and answered sheepishly. It was 5. The girls still laughed amusingly, as Rainbow continued. The point is, if Spike wasn't there to practice with me to make sure I didn't overexert myself, I never would have been able to play in the game and score the winning goal. She smirked. Sunset spoke up. Any of you notice a lot of the good times we've had so far this year all have something to do with Spike? You're right, Twilight agreed. Well, having Spike here made this year more fun, Applejack added. Fluttershy spoke up. I know what you mean. I remember running into Spike one day after school out in the town. I was carrying a lot of supplies, and Spike offered to help me. The girl smiled at Spike, who rubbed the back of his head. As we walked, I heard the sound of a poor animal in distress. As it turned out, there was a poor kitty stuck up in a tree. Spike spoke up. I wanted to get it down, but Fluttershy insisted she do it. And boy, could she climb. Rainbow smirked and nudged the girl, feeling proud, as Fluttershy continued. Once I got the kitty down, I saw there was no collar on it, so I took it with us. Soon enough, Spike and I arrived at the back of the local church. Spike continued. Then this entire litter of stray cats came out, as Fluttershy was filing up multiple bowls with the cat food she purchased that day. Twilight gasped. Fluttershy, I didn't know you fed stray cats by the church. Well, they don't normally like it when strangers join me, Fluttershy explained. When they first met Spike, they were a little scared, but I showed them that Spike didn't mean them any harm, so we spent that day caring for them. You see, at first there were only a few cats there, but any time I found another stray cat that was lost and hungry, I'd bring it to the others where it would be safe with the rest of them. Fluttershy, your kindness knows no bound. Rarity smiled. Vinyl looked and saw Trixie with a tear in her eye. Are you crying? The girls quickly looked over to catch the sight of Trixie crying, only for the girl to rub her eye. No, I just have something in my eye, she denied. Keep telling yourself that, Trixie, Rainbow teased. Twilight spoke up. Well, I'll go next. I remember one night I was working overtime in the library, and I fell asleep while managing some books. Typical Twilight. Rainbow nudged Pinky and the two laughed. When I woke up, I found myself back in my dorm room, with Spike sitting by my bedside. He told me he found me asleep on a pile of books. I panicked at the idea of not finishing up. but Spike said he finished what I was doing and carried me back here, the girls gasped, before turning to Spike. You carried her? Applejack asked. Did you do it like a groom would carry a bride? Pinky asked, resulting in the other girls looking curious. Spike answered, no, I carried her using the pack strap carry method. I'm not that strong to carry someone in my arms. Rainbow smirked, then we're gonna have to put some more meat on those bones. The girls laughed. Twilight cleared her throat and continued, I was so glad Spike was able to help me out. Principal Celestia and Ms. Chereli always tell me while I may be an A-ranking student, I shouldn't overdo myself in both studies and my work. Got that right, Spike chuckled, and the girls laughed with him. As Twilight smiled at the boy, all eyes fell on Sunset, who was ready to say her best memory of Spike during the year. The girl smiled and explained. Well, there was one day after school, I decided to go for a walk in the park to clear my head as I reflected on all the bad things I did. I ran into Spike and he offered to join me so I wouldn't be alone. So we started walking, and I got to opening up and telling Spike the bad stuff I did around the school to you girls and the rest of the students. Actually cried from remembering all the bad things I did, but Spike comforted me and told me he didn't know me back then. So the girl I am now is the only Sunset shimmer to him and not who I was before. She then thought to herself, and the way he held me so close felt so warm and welcoming. She blushed faintly at the memory of it. Final went next. I'll tell you my best memory this year involving Spike. I was using the music room to practice some new remixes with my turntable. I thought I was alone, until I realized Spike was there as well. I felt embarrassed to have been watched while I was working. She chuckled, but said he'd like to hear more of what I was working on. So I showed him a bit more beats, and he gave me some honest feedback and what I could do to make some of them sound better. And his advice worked. Half the stuff used in some of our musical numbers were all thanks to Spike's feedback. She pulled Spike into a playful headlock, not realizing she was causing his cheek to brush up against her left breast. Spike, however, said nothing and just waited until she eventually released his head. Then all eyes fell on Trixie, who answered, well, I have so many wonderful memories with Spike I don't know where to begin. She boasted, while the girls could see right through her. Yeah, right, Twilight called it. Spike spoke up, well, there is one memory between Trixie and I. Tell us, Pinky demanded, as Trixie was looking nervous. Spike answered, well, one Saturday about 3 months ago, I was out in town getting some stuff. When I was planning on heading back, I saw at the corner was our great and powerful Trixie doing magic tricks for some of the children living around there. Now you girls may see her as a boaster around the school, claiming she can do anything. But the Trixie I saw there was an absolute loving person who loved to see the happy looks and smiles on kids' faces. The girls looked at Trixie, who smiled sheepishly as Twilight spoke. Trixie, I had no idea you cared so much. Well, there's a lot about me I don't really express openly, Trixie answered, feeling embarrassed. Sunset smiled and sat next to her. Maybe you feel a lot better if you did show us those sides of you that you keep to yourself. Trixie looked at her. You think so? Yeah, then maybe we wouldn't feel so compelled to ignore you, Rainbow added. Trixie thought on it. Well, I guess you're right. So what happened afterward? Fluttershy asked Spike. Before Spike could answer, Trixie held a hand up. I'll finish. After my show, Spike and I went to get a beverage and we started talking about how I got into learning how to do magic tricks from my mother. Right, she was a traveling magician, Applejack remembered. Madam Ruby, Rarity answered. Trixie nodded. I still remember when she taught me everything she knew. She smiled. Twilight laid a hand on her shoulder. I'm sure you will be a great traveling magician like her yourself one day, Trixie. Trixie couldn't help but smile at her supposed rival. Thank you, Twilight. Applejack noticed the clock. Hey, look alive, people. Only a few more minutes till midnight. Hearing that, they all got comfy as they watched the countdown. Eventually it was nearing down to 1 minute, and they started counting down the last few seconds. Until Pinky cried, hold on everybody, here it comes. Suddenly the clock struck midnight, and the group announced, Happy New Year. They blew into some horns and shook some noisemakers, while outside they could see some fireworks light up the sky. And now the year is new, Twilight smiled. This calls for a celebration, girls. Come and get it. Spike pulled out a big bottle of soda as he started pouring it into each of their plastic cups which they drank from. When they finished their drinks, Spike looked at the girls and smiled at them. Knowing just how special they all really were to him. Hell, just about every girl in the school was special to him. But the 9 gathered in his room was by far his top group of girls, and he wanted to show them how much he cherished them. Girls, they turned towards him. As Twilight asked, "Yes, Spike, I think we should greet this new year with a special treat." "A special treat?" Rarity asked, puzzled. "What did you have in mind, Spike?" Applejack inquired. He smirked. "I give all of you a New Year's kiss." There was a moment of awkward silence in the room, until the girls gasped, "What?" Spike was surprised at their reaction. Before asking, "So is that a yes or a no?" "Yes," the girls cried, before realizing how desperate they sounded. So Twilight spoke up. We'd love to each share a New Year's kiss with you." Spike smirked. "Well, let's get started." He grabbed Fluttershy, being the closest to him, and kissed her on the lips as Fluttershy thought, "Wow, just as wonderful as it was the first time we kissed." When they parted, Spike moved on to the next close girl, Rainbow Dash. The athletic girl smirked and spoke. "Pucker up, pretty boy." Spike smirked. Never been called that before. And with that, the two kissed, as Rainbow thought, "Oh yeah, totally awesome." When they parted, Spike went over to Rarity. The two puckered up and kissed, with Rarity thinking, "Oh, he kisses just like a dream." When Spike finished his kiss with Rarity, he went over to Applejack and the two kissed. Applejack thought to herself, "Now this is the only way to kiss." She was afraid of parting lips, but knew Spike wanted to get through the others. Spike went to Pinky, and the two kissed. As they kissed, Spike could feel Pinky slipping her tongue in, which he was not about to protest to. Spike thought, "Whoa, Pinky's not holding out this time." Eventually they parted, much to Pinky's reluctance. Twilight went over, and she kissed Spike, while thinking, "I'm glad we have Spike here at school with us." When Spike and Twilight finished, the boy went to Sunset Shimmer. He cupped her chin and brought her lips to his, and they kissed. Sunset thought to herself, "Wow, Spike is just amazing." The two parted, and Spike went over to Vinyl. He was about to kiss her but stopped. "Wait a minute, let me make a little adjustment." "Adjustment?" Vinyl asked curiously. Spike reached out and removed her sunglasses, revealing her eyes. "There we go." Vinyl blushed at Spike's flirtatious attempt. So the boy and the DJ moved in, and their lips met. Eventually they parted, and Spike placed Vinyl's sunglasses back on her face. He turned to the lost girl, Trixie. He went to her and looked her in the eyes. "Hope you're ready for a great and powerful kiss," he teased. "Bring it." Trixie beckoned him, and the two locked lips as Spike finished his last New Year's kiss of the night. When they broke, Trixie smiled. "That was great and powerful." The girls laughed. Eventually all of the girls were asleep in their sleeping bags on the floor, while Spike was asleep in his bed, with one particular thought on his mind: how much fun he was going to have next semester with all his lady friends at Canterlot Academy.
She